What's up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Shocker, the 96 Hedgehog here with our G8DL draft analysis. You guys are hype? Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Join the Phil Shocker crew today because you'll be filled with the king of the crew. So we are here for season 5. We've been here since I believe season 2. We've been here for season 2, season 3, season 4. We have now on our 4th season here. I think our 4th season. I don't remember if that was the first season or not. But basically, we could have been here for all 5, and I just could be really blanking right now. But we have had some really close calls. We've made playoffs every single time, except the last 2, being seasons 4 and 3. Oh yeah, then it has to be. Yeah, this is our 5th season. We missed out in the 4th season because we just had so much bad luck happen to us. Season 3, we missed out by just 1 game or just by differential. Season 2, we were in the championship, and Season 1, we were in the semifinals. So I'm hoping 5th time's the charm here. But again, I've got 5 championships under my belt. I always want to try to win and make playoffs. That's always my goal. I never aim to try to win the championship unless I really want to win it in a certain league. But no, let's get off topic. Also, I have become one of the new admins for G8DL, so that's pretty hype as well. So I'll be running the doc. I'll be helping doing this, and I might actually do some videos on G8DL, like some power rankings and stuff like that. Maybe doing something like that in the future, but who knows? But right now, let's get into this draft analysis. So, of the 8 coaches, I had pick number 2 this season. Last season, I actually had pick number 3, so I went up. So there was a lot towards me that I could work with here. We obviously added all the new mods from Crown Tundra. We actually did tiering, but this was a points-based draft tier this week instead of our normal tiering. It's an experimental system this time, but we're also doing it a little unique too. We're doing basically like 20-point tier mods, 15-point tier, 10-point tier, 5-point tier, and a whole list of 1-point mods. So basically, and certain Gmaxes got you like 20 points, 40 points, even arguably 60 points. So, but mostly the 60 points and the 40 points are the ones that are just not going to be really coming at all. So, definitely some big advantage points right there. And definitely when you look at someone else's draft, oh boy, did they take advantage of that. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about our draft. So, like I said, it's second pick overall, and this was a mon I really, really wanted to use. It's been a mon I've been trying to use, and has been a mon I've never actually used a full lead time in draft. And this was the one thing again. I wanted to keep experimenting with mons I maybe only used once or not at all. And we're grabbing Typhoon, my Tornadus Therian. And the reason why I went Tornadus Therian became busted broken this generation. It's argued to believe that Thunderous Therian here should almost not be allowed in the normal draft league format because of the fact that he got access to Nasty Plot this generation. So instead of being a really good pivoter mon, which it is by the way, but now it becomes a strong, dangerous offensive mon. And heavy duty boots makes this thing's defensive sets so much more annoying. It can be an easy, reliable defog and support Pokemon almost every single week. This thing hits like a mad truck. It can be very offensive with life over choice specs. And overall, I definitely think this Pokemon is going to provide so much good use, and I'm super, super excited. Also, that base 121 speed gives us a lot of speed to work with, to where we can run Modest or Adamant or even mix sets and stuff like that, depending on the week. But I was really hyped. So, draft goes down, and I basically have a wheel pick essentially now. And what I was thinking for my next pick is like, okay, I'm going to obviously have a bit of an electric weakness and ice weakness, so I want to start patching up some of that. Well, I decided to go ahead and patch up the ice weakness and a bit of a rock weakness that I would have. And I actually, now, this was not originally Keldeo. This was originally Urshifu Rapid Strike, but I made a free agent transaction and made Keldeo. Now, why did I go Keldeo over Urshifu? I have used Urshifu before, and I was really excited to try, but what I came down to is I've seen people use Keldeo, and for some reason, I've been really liking Keldeo, and I thought, like, you know what? I've only used Keldeo maybe one time, and that was back around Gen 7, and about 2 years ago. Excuse me. And I've never really used it. I mean, it came to a few weeks, but it didn't do really anything for the team. So what I decided to do is I want to try it again. It's a really, really good mod, especially in this format. In this format, it is super, super good. It's a really great mod. I really like it. Very good offensive utilities, good sub-call mindsetter. It's a really good special attack. You got access to flip turn this generation, which is basically a U-turn, but for water type stab and water type move as well. So I definitely think that's a really good asset because again, it can flip turn on grass types, which is really, really good. So choice scarf sets and choice spec sets are really good viability for Keldeo now. And by the way, we went Resolute just because I wanted Resolute just to go with it. But overall, I think Keldeo is also going to be another special attacker, which is really good. He gives me that base 108 speed, which is a good decent gap between Typhoon and we're naming it Nay because it's a horse. It's a horse, so it goes to go. That was for you, Brendan. Basic wells with my wheel. I picked up Jet the Latios. Now, Latios gave me for one a second defogger. Yes, it gave me another main special attacker, but it also gave me a relatively good Spadef wall as well if needed to be. And Latios is another one of those monsters that's a strong, reliable defogger because of its 110 space when it's 110 base speed. Oh, excuse me. It's getting a little late for me, as you can see, and it's almost Christmas, so yay! By the way, Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you have a happy holidays. But I also went with Latios for the fact that if you really look at the combination between Latios and Keldeo, synergistically, this is a really great pairing. Because when you look at the fighting weaknesses is flying, psychic, electric that it has, and grass type, fairy. Now, obviously, they can share weakness to fairy, but Latios resists electric. Latios resists grass. Latios resists the psychics and can actually reliably beat psychics 1v1 depending on the sets. So I felt like the combination of these two was way too good to patch up. Also, this gives me a really good choice Spectre user, good choice Scarf user, and also a decently good Dragon Dance user as well. Doesn't get the best coverage for certain mons, but other than that, it was a fantastic mon, and I could not pass up the opportunity to grab Latios, especially since I knew Mega, when we were doing the tiers, he wanted Latios, and I was like, yeah, I kind of wanted Latios too. Anyways, so picks go by. I did think I got sniped on a few things. I definitely got sniped on Crocodile, I think, when I picked up Latios, maybe. Or no, I think it was the round after I got sniped on Crocodile. I really wanted Crocodile. Crocodile was just going to be something I really wanted to finally get my hands on. Lady, once again, snipes me. Why, Lady? Why do you gotta be so mean to me? By the way, we call her Lady K instead of her full name because, for one, it's kind of hard to pronounce, and two, I don't know if she prefers us saying her full name out there. So, we basically came with the next wheel, and I knew coming up to me that Real, who drafted this mon last season, who sniped it away from me, I wanted to get it this season, and I think it was kind of a steal of a mon to get in round 4, in my opinion. I grabbed, with his head cut off, G-Max Cinderace, whatever you say. I say Cinderace, I don't know why. Also, ignore my cat. I don't know why he's just doing this all the time. But I went with G-Max Cinderace with the fact that, one, it gave me a fire type, which I really needed to stop those bulky grass types and those really annoying bulky steel types for things like Typhoon, Jet, and stuff like that. Excuse me again, guys. I overall thought like Cinderace was just a perfect pair. Yes, I am limited to a Pokeball, which is the main rule we run in G8DL, but I still think that Cinderace puts a lot of good utility options. The base 119 speed is not a deal when you already have a base 110 and a base 121, because it literally kind of just diminishes the gap a little bit between the 121 and 119. It adds a tiny bit of a gap between the 110 and 119, but not much of a gap. But it provides a really good gap between the 108 and the 119 that we have here between Keldeo and Cinderace. And I overall thought like access to Cinderace was really, really good. Access to things like Air Boost and stuff like that. Now, unfortunately, it does get access to Baton Pass, but it has to be dry passing only, no stat passing, because otherwise I could run Baton Pass with Airstreams, and I think it would really be beneficial to the team. But overall, I think Cinderace is really good. Access to Core Change is really good. U-Turn is really great pivoting as well. And with having two really strong defoggers, I felt that was really good to pick up Cinderace. I almost wanted to pick up G-Max Charizard, but with already having a flying type, I didn't think it was really good. And this is where I really should have picked up Crocodile, because I don't think anyone was going to scoop up either Scizor or Ferrothorn, depending on which one, because I think Scizor was my backup pick to it, which really makes me mad. I then waited and got Crook this round, but it's fine. But I picked up Ferrothorn. Now, you guys have seen, this is the third time I've drafted Ferrothorn, and 2 times I've used it, I have dropped it. Literally, like, almost the beginning of the season. But this time, I'm not going to drop him. I'm going to use him, because I actually did use him, I think, in Season 1, and he killed a Pelipper with Thunderbolt. One of the most proudest moments I've ever had with a Pokemon. But overall, I think the Airform's really great. It offers a really good supporter. It gives me for Stealth Rocker. It gives me a Spikes user. Good T-Wave supporter mon as well. Definitely provides a lot of pressure and forces removal on mons every single week. I overall think Ferroform puts in so much great utility as a really good defensive backbone. It's also, not to be slept on, a really good physical attacker. I do have a little bit of access to Trick Room, as you see also down the road. I do pick up at least another Trick Room user. So people do need to be careful of the fact that I could pull up a Trick Room team. If you're not careful, who knows? But overall, I think Ferroform was a really good bulky grass and steel type for this team. Scizor would have worked really good. It gave me with third Defogger, but I didn't want to pick up so much removal right out the gate like that. Even though in my next pick is going to be removal. But, well, my next two picks actually. But I felt like this is a really good one to just use and get a chance to finally get to use again in Draft League. And I really do think Ferroform is really good, especially with no hidden power. Now, this was not originally Skunking. Originally, this was Umbreon. Now, the reason I dropped Umbreon was so I could get a more budget for my bank. And originally, I only drafted 10 mons because if I didn't say this already, you can, with the 120, also we have 120 points to use with our point format stuff. You can get a maximum of 12 mons. The lowest you can get is 9 mons. And what I wanted to do, and originally I had 10. And I, looking at everyone else's drafts, everyone's finished with 11 or 12. And I was thinking, like, I'm going to be the one that's going to have the most disadvantage. I'm going to have to be the one that's getting most red on. But I felt like if I can grab some other low tier stuff that actually people were going to sleep on, I grab. I felt like I could really improve my draft. So I actually improved my draft now to 12 mons. And I think my team actually looks a little more threatening now with that I picked up in free agency. So originally this was Umbreon. The reason I grabbed Umbreon was again Wish Passing, Toxic user, Heal Bell user. But I went with Skunk Tank for the fact that one, grounded poison type, so I can get rid of those hazards of Toxic Spikes. Gave me a really good defensive, a relatively decent defensive poison and dark type. It gave me another defogger, which is really important as well. It gave me a really good mon to really stop the fairy type, even though it is neutral to fairy, along with it was also a really good bulky dark type, so really annoying psychic types I want to have their way with, depending on their psychic typing as well. Against Jet and Keldeo, I felt like this stopped on hardcore wall them really, really good. And again, 100% recommend getting a dark type. Any dark type. As long as it's a dark type that can actually also be relatively decent as well. Because if you just get a mediocre dark type that can get beaten easily, then more times than not, you're going to really lose that dark type, even to a good psychic type. So with my wheel there, I picked up Tinkerbell the Rabombe. Now again, the speed stat does not make sense to grab a 124 when you have a 121 and then a 119. But again, it's speed gap between Keldeo and certain things as well that really do provide a really great speed gear here going into it. So I picked up Tinkerbell for two reasons. One, sticky webs, and two, well, three reasons I guess. One, sticky webs. Two, it gave me another defogger so I could really use it well. And more importantly, this gave me a mon that was going to be a main special attacker. This thing's got great access to things like sticky webs. He's got access to things like quiver dance. The one thing is really good defensive steel types, but certain steel types that are, have a neutral weakness to don't really appreciate things from Rabambi as well. Like certain things like Aggron cannot take energy balls from this thing after it's chipped at +1 stuff like that. So I felt like, and plus I've never really used Rabombi at all. I've used Rabombi like maybe once or twice. One time I took over a team, and I beat Zach with a Swoka Sash Quiver. I'm sorry, Zach, I had to do it. But I went with Tinkerbell for the fact that Rabombi was a really good speed. It gave me a really good offensive. It gave me another good reliable hazard removal if need to be pushed in this. It gave me U-turn momentum, which is really good as well. And overall, I felt like it was just a fantastic Pokemon. It was really, really good. Going to my second wheel. This now was originally Helios. Now, I went with Helios for the fact that, again, base went on my speed. I felt that was really good speed gap to go over there, but I got to kind of replace that speed with Keldeo. And I went with a more kind of mon I've been wanting to really use. If you all remember back on my old channel when I had Circuitry and APA Indigo for one season, I think it was season 2, or it was season... No, I think it was season 2, because that was when I took over team. We pulled off, I think, a 6-0 with Circuitry with Hypnosis Tail Glow, and we basically swept the person's team with it. This thing was so incredibly good. Now, obviously, in this generation, it does get still access to Hypnosis, but the main thing it lost was Tail Glow, which kind of ruined a lot of the offensive support options. But it still became a good, decent mon to use with screens. It's also a relatively decent mon still with a fantastic special attack. This thing under webs, however, oh boy, that's really good. Like certain ground types, The only ground type I think that could be a relatively decent problem to it would be Landers, but I'm going to spoil for you. Only one type of Landers was drafted. We only have to face it one time, so it's all right. And certain ground types are going to be still a big problem that we might not be able to bring it. But one thing that this thing is really great, it's got access to things like Energy Ball. It's got access to things like Dazzling Gleam. It's got access to things like Grass Knot if we want. If we want to go ballsy and go physical, we got Power Up and stuff like that. It was a good volt switcher that I can use as well as run with rising voltage if I were a terrain setter. It's got access to unique things like Charge Beam, Thunder Wave, Electric Terrain if I really want to. Still run the Hypnosis if I really want to. Magnet Rise, which could still be some clutch tech if we wanted to bring that as well. I think just overall circuitry was something really good. And plus, I haven't really wanted to try this thing again after so long. I'm so happy it came back in Sword and Shield, and I'm just looking forward to trying this thing out again. With my this was technically my last wheel, but I guess it wouldn't be in this case. But on the wheel, we pick up Mudsdale from all the way, I think, to season 2. I'm pretty sure. Or it was season 1, one of the two. We picked up Trojan the Mudsdale, and for the 1 week we had Mudsdale in that one game, because I don't think we really brought it that much. For that 1 week it came, it put in work and nabbed us the victory. I think it was a 1-0 or 2-0. And Mudsdale lived a choice baited close combat with the +1 defense on like 2 or 4 HP percentage wise from a Surf Fetch, and we were to knock it out. And I was really excited. I overall think Mudsdale is good. I haven't really used Mudsdale because there's been a lot of better ground types I liked. But I feel like I had to get Mudsdale. I think Mudsdale gave me, again, a really good bulky ground that I really needed for my team to stop my electric spam. Even though I've got some good electric resist on my team, there's still a good amount of mons that can really be annoying. And Mudsdale is one of the best checks things like things like Zero Aura, which is very annoying. Certain things like Regieleki as well. It's just really fantastic mon, and I really, really do love this thing. It gave me also another stealth rocker, which was important as well. And overall, it just gave me a really good mon, especially annoying sets with body press. It's a very good mon. I'm really excited to use it. So my last pick was originally Wheezing. I went with Wheezing for the access of Toxic Spice, Will-O-Wisp, and stuff like that. And overall, just a poison type that can give me a grounded poison type. Also, give me a neutralizing gas Pokemon. But I changed that out for Dusknoir. Now, why did I go for Dusknoir? For one, it gives me that Trick Room setter, which I told you about. But it gave me a lot more bulk for this team, and it gave me a new physical attacker, which I could use as well. And also just gave me a really good support mon with Toxic, Will-O-Wisp, and stuff like that. Again, that second Trick Room user, as you can see, I've got a little bit of that Trick Room element now with things like Ferrothorn, with Dusknoir now, with my Mudsdale now, and like one of my last 2 pictures you're going to see. I've got a little bit of that Trick Room threat right there that a lot of people are going to have to be very, very careful about. And if they sleep on that option, this team can really go in. I think you can really pull out some really good W's. And I think I can make some of these mons also relatively good Trick Room abusers as well. So definitely something that a lot of people are going to have to be careful about. So going to now my new last wheel, I picked up Kangaskhan. By the way, these were if I didn't say it, so basically let's also go to the points. So Torn, Keldeo, Latios, Ferroform, they were all 20 points. 0 points for the G-Max Ignorance. This was 10 points for 5 points for Skunk Tank, 10 points for Tinkerbell, 15 for Zergotry, 5 for this, and then 1 for that. So kind of just give you those. So my last 2 are 1 pointers, and one of the 2 is with my new type of wheel here is Kangaskhan. Now I have used Kangaskhan or Kangaskhan, whatever you want to say, before, and it's really good. I actually have learned to really like this. It gave me another stealth rocker, so it gave me my 3rd rocker, which was really important. Now I have spikes, rocks, sticky webs, poison. I mean, toxic spikes would have been really nice, but I felt like I really don't need them all that much. But overall, this was a fantastic moment to get access to Scrappy, so I'm immune to Intimidate, hitting Ghost types, because Ghost types really hit our team relatively good. Inner Focus is also really good for anything. Early Bird is also really, really good, because basically, if you don't know what Early Bird does, Early Bird means this Pokemon sleep kind of drops by 2 instead of 1, so you can basically kind of get relatively an easy, just guarantee out, and I just really felt like it was super, super good. And I've had some decent success with Kangaskhan. I've gotten at least a good couple of kills with this thing, and it is hashtag Mama is best because everyone's mom is literally our best friend, and they are the best supporters out there for us. I mean, fathers are too, but moms, I feel like for my mom does the most best for me. And with our last pick, I decided to go for a fun pick. I've used Gmax Lapras actually I think one time maybe. And I've never used regular Lapras. And honestly, when I have prep for regular Lapras, I know what sets it's gonna bring versus me, and it's a little annoying. But I overall think Lapras was a really, really good pickup here. I think Lapras provided a good another defensive mon, which is really, really good, that base 130 HP. But more importantly, this gave me a good ice check. It's weak because freeze dry is also a little bit spammable for my team. This gave me a good mon to use freeze dry with. This gave me mon to use access to rain dance with hydration. Overall, this also again another fantastic trick room user, good mixed defensive wall. This thing also got access to body press, so things like I don't know if it's under defense, it does not. But body press is really annoying for most teams to face. Ancient power is really good in battle against those ice types. Curse sets are really scary. Even Dragon Dance sets, which I think a lot of people are going to be careful about. So definitely something that a lot of people have to be very careful with. But overall, I think this was a really good pick to pick up in the 1 point tier. And I think the fact that it gives me a water immunity is super good for things like Cinderace and Mudsdale and just any really strong water typing. And plus, if anyone potentially tried to draft Dracovish, here's my Dracovish answer. And also, a Freeze Drymon is also really good because it handles all those bulky waters that we kind of do struggle a little bit against. But now with having this plus Circuitry and now with Keldeo as well, bulky waters I definitely think are not going to be that much of an issue. But I know this draft analysis went really longer, I think, but I wanted to kind of get into the ideas with G8DL being the new admin, going over the system and everything that we had and everything. But overall, I think this was a great team I created, and I'm looking forward to Week 1 games, which will be starting not this following week, but you'll know when it happens when you see a draft one. I mean, the team builder for Week 1. But other than that, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe if you're new. Let us know what mon is your favorite mon on this team, and let you know if you think we'll make playoffs or not. But until next time, guys, I'm Real Shocker, the United States. I'll see you guys later. Peace.